Welcome to the Elder Within podcast. I'm your host, Corinna. Have you noticed we're living through a global transition? The old ways are falling away and something new is wanting to emerge. In the past, elders helped guide these moments. They offered steadiness, wisdom, and perspective. Today, that role has faded, and we can feel the absence. Many people are searching for quick fixes. We react, we resist, we try to rebuild without listening deeply. Being an elder isn't reactive, it's a way of being. In this podcast, we explore the qualities of an elder, not as concepts, but as lived experience. How we listen, how we see, how we walk in the world. Thank you for being here. Let's begin. Hello and welcome. It's been a while, I know, but it took me some time to really get clearer on what do I mean with seeing beyond polarity. Polarity, on the one hand, allows us to make sense of life that is complex. On the other hand, it is necessary because without the presence of darkness, life makes no sense. Understanding is so often based on the presence of opposites. We create as a result of those opposites because something is missing, and so we look for creating what is missing. For instance, ask yourself, what do I like? My sense is that the answer is not that easy. At least it hasn't been for me. Asking, what do I not like, is a lot easier. You see where I come from when I say the opposites? Staying in polarity, though, becomes limiting because polarity, if we go to the ends of the pole, we have separation. Out of that separation, judgment arises. And within that judgment, there is an inability to perceive the complexities, the connections are present. If I look at it as part of the life cycle, then a child, for instance, simplifies life. It's safe or unsafe. Something is forbidden or allowed. It's a survival tool. As we gain more knowledge, we are able to hold more complexity. We can start adding some shades of gray that are dependent on the context of everything. In old age, we may return to the black and white because we're tired, emotionally tired. We've developed habits that have become ingrained. And there is that need for certainty that we have. Polarity freezes things into categories. Those categories don't move, yet life moves. It seems to give us clarity, yet if we stay in polarity, we lose the aliveness. What if we become able to hold both? Life is not an either or. It rather is an and. There are both sides, ends of the pole. There are partial truths, different contexts. The opposites are not necessarily clear. And each time we make a new decision because we are present with a situation, we recognize context. We calibrate around the context. Each situation is unique. There are no two situations that are the same. That doesn't happen. You don't have the same water flowing underneath a bridge, for instance. It's water, but it's not the same. Can we see the uniqueness without collapsing into the polarity? Are we able to see both sides, so to speak? Choice does not have to be immediate. Are you aware of that? It's not that a situation arises and you have to make a choice right here, right now. That usually isn't the case. So what if we can feel into that situation? What if we can ask questions, explore, and allow for contradictions to exist? I am really practicing listening to what wants to come forward, what wants to be brought into this moment, what is required right now, which may be totally different from what was required in a similar situation way back when, or in a year or two, again in a similar situation, may be required. So what wants to be born, what wants to be brought forward right now, in this moment? Am I willing to perceive the field? And I know from practicing this that every time the response, the awareness is different, because there is something else that is also asking to be brought forward. I invite you to observe yourself. What happens when you collapse into polarity? What happens if you don't? Does something open up? And are you aware that you are allowed to change your choice? I mean, I cannot promise a friend I'm going to do something for them, and then tomorrow I'm going to say, I changed my mind, I'm not going to do that. That's not. I need to keep the other person in mind. But if it, for instance, just affects me, I can change my mind. And I remember that basically when I was growing up, I was told by my parents, you made the bed, you need to lay in it now for the rest of your life. Oh, is that true? Maybe I can change that choice at some point. Or what if I make a choice, one kind of choice in one situation, and another kind of choice in a different situation? To just put it bluntly and repeat myself, which is something that I have a hard time doing. So I'm inviting you to enjoy that exploration for yourself. Would you be willing to sit with those questions? And then I want to share something that preparing and really sitting with the subject of polarity, I became aware of. There is polarity and there is duality. Conversationally, we tend to use the one or the other for talking about opposites. But if you really look at it, duality, you have this or this. It's sort of like boxes that are unique. That box is white, that box is black. If we talk about polarity, we're talking about the ends of a pole. But there is that pole that connects them. And that pole are the shades of gray that bring us from white to black. I wonder, do you get what I mean with that there is actually a difference? And I have used polarity and duality interchangeable, and I didn't like either one of them. Realizing that there is a benefit to polarity, that there is that creation, that depth of understanding that comes if we look at the ends of the pole and the pole in between that connects them. And I want to invite you, would you be willing to go back and re-listen to this again and find the places where I was truly talking about polarity, about the spectrum, and where I was actually referring to duality, to the individual boxes. There is no connection between those boxes. And what is happening right now in the world in general, we have way more duality going on. That people put it in the boxes. It's either right or it's wrong. There is no situational rightness, which would be polarity. So I invite you to go and have another look at it. And I will talk to you the next time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Let's walk this path together. Until next week.